Hi everybody, it's Jake from Everything is Jake 57, and today we find ourselves in Ajo, Arizona, and we're going today do the Ghost Railroad with the acronym TC&GB. That is the Tucson, Cornelia, and Gila Bend Railroad. This railroad was founded in 1916, is when it was organized and started, and behind me, as you can see, is what most ghost railroads is the prize, and the prize is called the New Cornelia Mine. You can see the pit behind me, over 1,000 feet deep. This mine lasted for 70 years until about 1985, when the copper prices dropped to where it became unprofitable. The reason the railroad went north to Gila Bend and not east to Tucson, that's in the name of the railroad, is it was 140 miles to Tucson and only 40 miles to Gila Bend. That was important because in the 1880s, the Southern Pacific had completed its sunset route from LA to New Orleans, so it was a much shorter distance to tie into the Southern Pacific at Gila Bend than build your railroad all the way 140 miles to Tucson. So I'm going to let Catherine take a few shots and pan the pit, and then we're going to head north and see what we can find in this ghost railroad, the Tucson, Cornelia, and Gila Bend Railroad. We'll head into Ajo and then north to Gila Bend. Hi everybody, it's Jake. We have now come north of the Cornelia mine. We are now in the yard and at the depot of the Tucson, Cornelia, Gila Bend Railroad. And as you can see, there's several sets of tracks that went through the yard here in Ajo. And as we're looking here, we're looking north back toward Gila Bend, which is about 40 miles. So let's go check out the front of the depot and see if we can find that, the freight house, and what else we can find here in town of Ajo. Okay everybody, we have reached the Tucson, Cornelia, and Gila Bend depot in central Ajo here. It was built in 1916 when the railroad was first built to serve the new Cornelia mine that we just went to. Beautiful building. It did go dormant after the TC&GB Railroad went discontinued in 1985. Fortunately, in 2001, it was named a historic place, allowing grants to be gotten from the state and the federal government, and it was renovated between 2001 and 2008 to the beautiful structure that you see today. So the rails are on the other side, but certainly wanted you to see the TC&GB passenger depot here in Ajo. One thing I should note is that when it started in 1916 and went until 1985. It was almost 70 years of passenger service, which is some of the longest continuous passenger service in American railroad history. Here we are looking opposite the depot, looking west toward the Ajo City Park Plaza with the beautiful mission-style church in the background. Well, we've come a few, about 100 yards north of the depot, and as you can see here, we found the freight house of the Tucson, Cornelia, Gila Bend Railroad, and you can see the tracks once again, several sets heading north back toward Gila Bend. So let's head north from this and see what we can find as we leave Ajo and head back north toward Gila Bend. Hey everybody, it's Jake again, and we've come about 6-7 miles north of Ajo, where the depot was, and before that the new Cornelia mine. And we think we now, as you can see, we have a dual set of tracks from the TC&GB. I think this was the location of a small settlement called Childs. And there's some historical documents about the existence of Childs, and it said it had a siding, and as you can see here, we certainly have the siding, and there's some foundations behind some of the bushes here, so we'll check that out. Back to Ajo that way south, about 6 miles. Gila Bend to the north, which way we're headed, probably about 35 miles. So with that, we're going to continue our northbound journey, but we're pretty stoked that we found the former location of Childs. Hi everybody, it's Jake. Lo and behold, we have made it to Gila Bend, and look what we found just south of town. We found the Tucson, Cornelia, and Gila Bend Railroad Y. You can see the main line heading straight toward me, and the one branch that heads kind of off to the northwest, to your left, my right. So this is totally cool. It's always great in ghost railroads to find the why. And a little bit farther behind me is the former Sunset route of the Southern Pacific that became Union Pacific when they merged in the late 90s. So this was the connection to civilization as we talk about in ghost railroads, with the new Cornelia mine being the prize and the connection here to the Southern Pacific Sunset route as the connection to civilization. Okay, hi everybody. We've come down the tracks a little farther, kind of south toward Ajo, just south of Gila Bend. And we found the first leg of the Y, and now we've walked down and we find the second leg of the Y. So this one heads off from the south, also to the northwest. This is really awesome to find the Ys as part of a ghost railroad. So what we'll do is go look for the yard, and then we'll wrap up this episode. Hi everybody, it's Jake. We have now reached Gila Bend, Arizona, the northern terminus of the Tucson, Cornelia, and Gila Bend Railroad. We're gonna see if we can find the yard. But guess what? First, this is the old Sunset route that the TC Gila Bend Railroad connected to. And guess what? We've got a train coming. So I'm gonna turn it over to Catherine and enjoy the show. Well, that shows you what an idiot will do at a railroad crossing. Well, we got a Union Pacific intermodal heading west toward Yuma, Arizona. Hey everybody, well, we have reached the Gila Bend Yard. This was the northern terminus of the Tucson, Cornelia, and Gila Bend Railroad. As you see, this is the yard. There's 4 sets of tracks here where they stored and made the interchange and the interconnection with the Southern Pacific of all the copper that came out of the prize that we saw back in Ajo. So this was also the connection for any passenger service west toward California and east toward Tucson and Texas and ultimately New Orleans. So this is really cool in here with all these tracks. I don't see any stock left or any rail cars left. I know they've been dispersed around the country from what I understand. In the back of me you can't see the main line of the today Union Pacific, formerly Southern Pacific. So this concludes this episode. It was really awesome to go all the way from the new Cornelia mine through Ajo, up through the Black Gap area and Childs, and end up here in Gila Bend at the Southern Pacific, now Union Pacific. So thanks to Catherine for her production and direction throughout Everything is Jake 57. And until we see you on the next episode, might be trains, might be railroad history, might be more ghost railroads like this one. So with that, remember, everything is Jake.